Hey guys, Mark with Think Insurance, and today we're going to talk about the top 11 insurance companies that are for home and auto in general. So if you are in the United States and you want to find out which companies are rated the best, we're going to go over that right now. As usual, you see me drinking the coffee. It is the support for this channel. If you guys are interested in supporting me, there's a link below to buy me a cup of coffee. And I've recently had a few of you buy me coffee. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. It is very helpful. It fuels my channel, which is really me running around in circles trying to research all of the data. So I actually pulled up an article from CNET, and there were some interesting things that I didn't agree with a lot of it, and we're gonna dive into it right now. They started off by explaining what coverages are what, and each state's different, and depending where you live and your gender and all that stuff makes a huge difference. So at the end of this whole process, the real question is, where should you go to get the best insurance quote? Because you're in different states and you're in different guidelines. I'm in Michigan where the rates are crazy. You may be in North Carolina where they don't care as much. I'm going to link below a company that works with multiple states, and almost every single company that we're going to talk about today is in there. If you want to shop across all of these companies, it's really simple to do. You don't actually have to even talk to a person. Now keep in mind, this article does reference one thing I do agree with. They do tell you that it's not always the cheapest that gives you the best service, so that's kind of a factor. There's a few things that I'm going to tell you near the end of the video that I think you guys should pay attention to, because I'm going to make another one of these videos that's going to go a little bit more in depth with some different companies that I think are going to have a little bit more meat or depth to what we're going to talk about. Let's dive right in. The first one, Geico Insurance. And Geico came in first, although it's a lie if you read their article closely. They're actually second, and we're going to go over the first one in a second. But Geico, their overall satisfaction rating was high. I'd love it in the comments below if you can either rag or praise Geico. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Most of the time, Geico's a really good fit overall. They don't have any bells and whistles, so you're not going to get a ton of stuff. Some states they won't even quote you in, or they'll make you jump through a million hoops like mine, and other places they don't offer home insurance. So they're more tied to the best auto insurance prices. And I will agree, they do have, from what I've seen, a good satisfaction rating. So if you're looking for an inexpensive company to go with that's going to give you decent service, Geico's a really good option. Well, we're going to bump them back and put back in the number one slot is USAA. Now, no company is going to rate USAA only because the fact that you can't join them. It's kind of a crazy thing. You have to be part of a military family or tied to some sort of military in order to join USAA. The only thing about them is they're slipping a little bit. Their coverages are starting to drop a little bit more and more, while their prices have started to go up a little bit more and more, at least in my state. I can tell you, when I first started doing insurance, I couldn't touch them. They had great rates. They were a great company. I still think they have some of the best service there is, but their problem is now that they're getting more competitive triggers and competitive driving apps and all of these other things, the USAA price is starting to go up a little bit, or just not keeping up with the market and the demand. That in turn has led us to be competitive. I would say out of 5, quote, 3, if not 4 of those times were more competitive than USAA. And then the benefit is you've got an agent like one of us that can shop you across multiple companies as life changes. You've got all these different options, where USAA, as great as they are, you're kind of stuck to the one company. The third one is Allstate. Allstate has been a large company. I'm actually going to work on a review on this channel per request from several people, so I will put that link here or below when I get that video done. If not, just subscribe, turn the bell icon on, and watch every single video that I make until you see the Allstate video. They're a good company. They have a few extra kicks in their policy. They're really good with service. They're large. They're one of the larger companies in the nation, and they're just overall a good company. I wouldn't shy away from them for any reason. The only thing that I will warn you to be careful with is their agents. Agents have a tendency to not be trained well, and I've seen that with multiple companies. Allstate's not excluded from this list, where their agents I've seen to be a little bit more aggressive, because in some states they've had some rough patches, and when you're the guy taking away their business, I've seen some things, and I'm not going to put it on this channel because that's specific to the agent and not to Allstate. but just be careful because if you're choosing your agent, you want to make sure that you get the right person. Coming in at number 4 is who last year I claimed as number 1 personally, is Progressive. And Progressive Insurance is just crushing the market. I want to say they're second or third largest in the nation now. They're growing. They have a market cap that is large. If you want to watch that video, I'll link that here. They are just an overall good company. They do rideshare, they do a savings bank, so if you want to put some money away for a deductible if it happens. They led the market with Snapshot, which is one of the best things. They have my favorite thing, which they're actually allowing you to do a test drive, link that video here, where you can test drive them 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance without ever committing at all. You can do their Snapshot, see how your driving record is, and then they'll give you a discount and tell you the exact price before you even buy it. That's amazing. Progressive is doing some innovative things, and they're good with service. They have really good service people. If you go through an agent, you can go through your agent and go through Progressive, so you have multiple options with their company. That brings us to number 5, which is Auto Owners. Auto Owners is great. I have loved hearing that name for years. I've never really been with them, but I've seen them work, and I've seen a lot of people happy. They, like USAA, have slipped a little bit, not as much. They're still very competitive, at least in my state they are. The part that I love about them is they're really good with teachers and those accredited. They're affiliated with the Teachers Association, which most companies are now, so it's kind of lost that luster of that discount. But even if you're a kid of a teacher and you're 30 now and life has passed, they're still going to give you those discounts for being tied to mom and dad throughout the period so that they keep you and the whole family as a group with their company. They're really competitive with home, especially in the state that I'm in, and that's the toughest piece of them. So they overall know that customer satisfaction is the main focus, and I think that's where Auto Owners really shines the most. Esurance, I'll give you a little secret. It's really Allstate on the internet. Just like Progressive now has Progressive Direct. Just like Nationwide, I don't know the company. I think it's the General. Don't quote me on that. It's somebody. But all these companies, Liberty Mutual has Safeco. They have sub companies. And Esurance, when you watch their commercials years ago when they first started doing this, said, hey, for those of you that don't want to go to an Allstate agent, we're going to create a cheaper product because we're going to bypass all of the extras. We're going to do the paperless. We're going to do all their discounts of the internet and not have to pay an agent. Sorry, agent. But we're going to allow you to go that route, and it saved people money. So they are doing really well as far as cost goes. That's a big benefit. I recommend them to a lot of younger drivers. Now, the service level is similar to Allstate. They're going to find those are pretty much tied hand in hand. And Allstate, like I said before, is overall a really good company. Liberty Mutual is actually one of my favorite companies, not just because I have family that works there and I've kind of got the inside scoop, because I've actually worked with their sub company, Safeco, and they've given me access to some of their actual documents. These guys know what's up. They know social media, they know how to brand things, they know how to support an agency or an agent. They're really good at taking care of everybody, not just you, the customer, because they understand that in order to keep you happy, they also have to keep the agents happy. So they're super competitive with price, they're really good with the agents, they're also really good with the customers. They offer a ton of coverages and they're innovative. And those all combined makes a really, really good company. I personally, depending on the state that you're in, if you get a really good deal with Liberty Mutual, I honestly would go that route because I do love that they're kind of, in my mind, a little bit of that next level of a company as far as like not just meeting the service levels, but having the extra coverages and the discounts and the cash back options and all of those things that a lot of people really are missing when you're buying those cheaper online versions of a policy. Nationwide is all over. I have had the struggle with these guys. I love but don't use them very often. And I've really had good success. They are improving. They've actually gone up as far as their technology. They now have the Nationwide Express, and they were part of Allied Insurance, and they're just kind of mixing with a lot of different options. So they're going in really good directions. They've always been good with service. they're a little bit tougher as far as initially checking into things. So for example, if they're insuring a house, they want to make sure that there's not a lot of damage, it's been well maintained. Everybody wants that, but they're a little bit tougher to make sure that they're not pulling in the wrong client, which is great for those that know you have a really good foundation, good auto, good home, no claims. That bundle, they're protecting that. And that's a good thing for those of you that want that option. They're also competitive when you're young and don't have insurance. They're one of the few companies that open up the door and say, that's fine, we'll give you a little bit of a deal because we know you're new to insurance, but you're still gonna have kind of those trial periods to make sure that you're still a fit for us. Travelers Insurance, I've had a few conversations with them and I do like them a lot. They're not so competitive in my state, which is Michigan, and I don't even know if they're technically doing insurance in Michigan right now, but out of the outside states, they crush Illinois, they crush a lot of different states as far as cost goes, but they have some of the most unique coverages. They offer like water backup with mold, with like overtime where everybody excludes those pieces. So if you're a homeowner and you're looking for really good options, I love the fact that they don't just rate the auto and then they don't just rate the home. They kind of combine it into a mix and they look overall like, what's this person? Who is this person? What kind of risk is it? How can we get them better discounts? What coverages may they want? Do they want matching, limited matching, which is also described in this video if you're curious about what that is. We're not going to go into it in this video, but what is the options? What benefits can we give a customer? Not just auto, but home as well. Travelers is a really good option. And then number 10 is going to be Safeco Insurance. Not much to say. Think of Liberty Mutual, almost identical in my opinion. Websites are similar. Limu's not there, but everything else is. They're a really good company. One of my favorite companies, kind of that upper level where they are the A or A+ rated company that is just really good at knowing that customers matter the most. Agents matter as well, and so everybody, they're trying to build that happy, everybody's gonna fit here. And for those that don't, you don't. So there's lots of options. That's why I'm putting that link to that company down below where you can get multiple quotes with multiple companies so you can see what options are best for you guys. Now the bonus tip is number 11, and this is a company that I didn't see on this list, although I am talking about 2021. Here's the thing. This article was written just recently, March 24th of 2021. So that's 3 days before I made this video. Now, the data they're using is from JD Power, which is also something that I use and I'm going to use in my next video where I'm going to go over the top 10, but they used it from 2019. So either JD Power hasn't come out with the 2020 or 21, because it's always usually about a half a year to a year behind, or they're recycling an old post. And I think that's kind of maybe they're updating a post, but they're pushing this one out as if it's brand new. I can't tell you those answers. That's up to them. Number 11, it should have been American Family. I actually had an article which put them as number 1 as overall for home insurance and auto insurance. So I don't know why they're not on this list. Maybe their customer satisfaction wasn't as high, which is what this was rated on, and they aren't 100% at that level yet, but they are competing very heavily. Those are my top 11 tips for you guys. Those are the companies that CNET has decided are the top 10 for 2021. I do like a lot of these guys. There is a lot of options. If you guys have questions, let us know your positive and negatives with any of the companies that you have. And I'm curious to know what company you're with and if you've been happy with them. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.